And go live. It'll tell me, okay, here we are. I usually wait a few minutes for everyone to kind of hopefully get on. Sometimes it takes a while. Hey, everyone. This is Michelle for Expat Life Mexico and Casa ELM here in San Miguel de Allende. We're going to wait a few minutes to kind of jump into the conversation today, but I'm so excited to have my two guests who now live in San Miguel, Dina. Hi, Deborah, welcome. And Elaine, they participated in a relocation tour last year separately, but they now live here. So we thought it would be a good idea to have them talk about why they moved to SMA and also why women over 60 are coming here, like what things, you know, do I'm not there yet, close. What things are attractive here in terms of living, comfortability, social life, everything that they are now experiencing, and not just me telling you all the greatness of SMA. So I'm really excited to have them here. I consider them my alumni. Casa ELM. We had when was that, Friday? We had a nice dinner for our last relocation group. And yeah, I had several people that went through my relocation program here. So it was nice to see now we're going through kind of that phase 2, the next cycle of people that are now here being a part of the groups of people that are coming to talk about their experiences as well. So that kind of solidifies it more than me chatting about it. So excuse my leaning in, but I'll be trying to see who's writing. Hi, Tracy, welcome. Yeah, let us know where you're from. Hi, Carla. Hi, Latonya. I don't have my glasses, so got to kind of lean in. But anyway, in true fashion, it's Wind Down Wednesday. So today we're gonna sip from a bottle that actually Dina got. You can tell us about it. First of all, can you hear us? I'm assuming you can hear us. Got a little bit of a different setup today. Just say yay or nay in the chat. Finca Luna Serena. It's a San Miguel vineyard, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
So you said it wasn't quite a vineyard, it was more of a.
It's more of an olive farm,
Okay,
and they just happen to make wine on the side.
okay, cool. Hi, Yolanda from Southern Cali. Okay, great, you can hear. So wine on the side, Pinot Grigio, I'll take it. So we're all gonna have a little bit. And it's kind of rosé. I don't know if you can see that. I don't see that often, a rosé.
Yeah, it's really,
Or
it's a
cognac
deep,
color.
it's a deep marigold, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure it tastes good.
I hope. I haven't tried it yet.
Elaine is first. And then, do you want to just try?
Sure, I'll try.
Okay, let's just taste it, see how this is. And we are at Casa ELM. Let's see. It smells vinegary.
Salud.
So, what do you say?
Salud. I don't know, let me try. I'll let you try first.
It tastes like a grape.
It is a little grapey,
And it's a little sweet,
but
in a good way.
in a good way, yes, I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, from Pinot Grigio, it is kind of sweet.
I know, right? Well, it might be a fairly new vineyard. It
Oh, no, they
seems-
did explain to me because they're an olive farm, not a vineyard. So they
Okay.
actually import these grapes from the US
Oh,
and make this wine.
okay.
Mhm.
Well, in that case, we'll keep drinking because I know I want some more. It's an interesting color because most Pinot Grigios, I don't know if you can see that. It's not even rosé, it's kind of a cognac color.
Yes,
Looks like whiskey.
do you like it?
Yeah, it's kind of Merlot-ish, you know.
Oh, white wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want more?
No, no,
No,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sure.
But I don't want to drink
That's-
alone. Okay, so we're gonna try to stay sober.
Yes, please. I'll try.
Try. So anyway, I'll let them introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about where they're from. What attracted them to San Miguel and we'll see who wants to get on first and chat. And then if you have questions, same as other format, please feel free to jump in and ask questions. I see you, Cisco, and welcome, Kim. And I will get to your question in a moment. Interesting, go ahead. Who's going first?
I'll go first. My name is Elaine. I've been here since November. I came to the relocation tour and had already gone through the process for being a temporary resident before I got here, so I just stayed. And that was my plan. And the reason why I picked San Miguel is, well, first of all, because it's an artist community. And I live in El Centro, which is the heart of downtown, and I'm surrounded by art. There's art in the building where I live. There are galleries all around my apartment. There's color everywhere. There's just this visual vibrancy that I just love. And that is the major reason why I came here. The other reasons why I came here is because San Miguel is a smaller town. It's not a Mexico City. So that makes it very manageable for me. And I can walk everywhere I need to go. And if I get on the wrong bus and I end up someplace I didn't intend, I can correct that easily. The people here are very gracious and patient. And I'm still learning Spanish and make a lot of mistakes. And, for a former English teacher, I just cringe sometimes at my conjugations, but people are very gracious and, they're just very gracious and in trying to understand what I'm trying to say, or even offering me, well, in Mexico, we say it this way, and that's very helpful.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to learn the language, especially if you're around a native speaker, is to tell them, like, correct me if you're really trying to get it. I don't think I'm trying that hard, but I should. But my point is I think sometimes, and this is, again, nothing wrong with really trying to understand it, but I think sometimes it becomes even a little bit of a hindrance because people are trying to speak it perfectly, and I think having a native speaker and just kind of applying yourself as much as possible. I know one of the teachers that I had, she's like, learn like a child, basically, kids kind of just jump in. And I think that helps. And I do think it helps to foster relationships with the locals. And I've talked about that as well. So that's great. Thank you, Elaine.
Sure.
And Dina, you're up next.
Okay, my name is Dina, and I've been here at San Miguel since January. I was on Michelle's relocation tour back in July of 2022. I was here for a week, and within that week's time, I made my decision that I'm coming back. And I told you guys that I'm coming back.
Yeah.
And I did. I went through the immigration process, started in my own state, Florida, finished it off here in January through a facilitator that Michelle introduced me to. And I've been here ever since. I came to San Miguel. Well, I came to Mexico for a couple of reasons. One, proximity to the US, because my family, as I mentioned, they're back in Florida. So that's good. 5 hours to get home if I need to. The temperate climate, because I live in South Florida, hot and hotter. Those are the only two. Yeah, hot and hotter.
Yes.
So the temperate climate was really an allure for me. So I came here. 3, yes, cost of living. People don't like to hear that, but quite frankly, you don't want to go somewhere where you're paying more than what you would pay back
Right.
home, right? You might as
Exactly.
well stay home, right? So that's attractive. That's attractive in Mexico, period. Why I chose San Miguel is after that first week in July, I felt a sense of community. I'm adventurous, but no, I can get fearful sometimes. Not that adventurous that I just want to just jump in there and know absolutely no one, don't speak the language, no backing whatsoever. And Casa ELM was a backing for me. I think I've told you this multiple times. Soft landing, you call it.
Yeah.
But the sense of community, the women that I've met here, they all different. They've come from different places, but the spirit is the same. Okay, the spirit of why we're here. And if you go through the list, if every woman went through a list of about 15 things, you'll find that each of them have at least 6 or 7 out of the 15 that's common
Right.
of why San Miguel.
That's true.
So,
I think that's a great point, because I keep hearing it. You know, I know that that was definitely an attraction for me, but I didn't come knowing that it existed. I just came because I wanted out. But when I got here, like it was an immediate thing that happened within days. I met Stephanie, and I met other people. So it just felt easy. We were saying this earlier, it feels very easy to integrate and almost feel like you've been here longer than you've been, you know. So yeah.
It's beginning to feel like home. I went home in March. I had to go back home. It's March. To get my sister locks done. Yes, that's how I went back home.
Important stuff.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I went back home, and while I was home, in Florida, I was missing San Miguel.
She got the San Miguel bug, y'all.
I think the San Miguel, I was missing San Miguel. And I was looking forward to coming back to my little,
Yeah, I had a similar experience. I had to go to the Bay Area in California about a couple months ago. When was it? I mean, it's like this year is almost gone.
I know.
But
Yes.
I got off the plane. It was cold. It was raining. It was like, I want to go home.
Back to paradise.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't just hear it from me. I'm going to comment on that, but I wanted to welcome Gilda and Cisco. We'll get to your question in a minute. And Deborah, Jackie, and Mantra, welcome. Thank you all. Yes, it's hot and humid in South Florida, but I remember feeling that way a lot. I still do. I had a neighbor where I used to live, and I remember her saying that, her family or her in-laws live in the US. And she was just like, I feel like I live in a place I'm on vacation all the time and I want to come home. And, she kind of explained why she felt that way. Just, the things that she kind of has on a regular day to day. And I said, that's a great point. And I remember going back as well to visit and feeling like I really miss being at home. I miss being in my own room, my own bed. Even when I travel, I love to travel, but I do enjoy coming home. In the past, I didn't when I worked a corporate job. I was like, no. Hi, Jessica and T. Williams, welcome. So we're going to talk about like some of the things that I think what you all think and feel is an attraction for, we're saying 60 plus, but I would say women who are interested in coming here. And I'm going to say women because I feel like we are the majority. And and I think it's just a sense of having, kind of a group of people that we recently met, but feels like we've known each other for a long time, and we're very supportive. We check on each other, always getting invited to do things. Sometimes you got to say no.
Yeah, you
So
having to feel so quickly.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure, for sure.
Real quickly.
So before we jump into that, someone wanted to know, Virginia Beach, how's the dating and African-American expat numbers? Numbers, that's Cisco's question. I don't know how many we are. I can tell you when I got here, we weren't that many.
Well, we had a couple of get-togethers where the turnout was pretty positive. It was a nice group. Not to
Yeah,
mention those that didn't come out.
right. When we did the Black History Month
Mhm.
meetup, we had quite a few folks, and I could think of at least 20 that
Mhm.
weren't there. And then there are people that I haven't met yet as well. I just hear about it.
And what about the concert at the Aurora on San Francisco Street?
I wasn't there for that.
But I heard it's sold out.
Yeah, it was sold
And
out.
it's a nice size
Mhm.
auditorium.
Was that
was-
Europa? Cafe Europa?
It's on San Francisco and Danielle was singing.
Right,
with
there's the
Jesse.
church on San Francisco and then
Yeah,
where
it looks like
goes
a
uphill.
museum.
Right,
Museum, yeah,
that's the
there.
Cafe Europa. I
There.
believe she's singing this weekend too,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So I don't know exact numbers, but the more the merrier. So come on down. As far as dating, I can't answer that.
I can't answer that either.
All right, then I'm not gonna answer it if y'all.
Come on, Dina, tell us
I'm
what's
not
the
gonna answer it.
tea. We need to know what's the
It's like
tea.
the internet. That stays forever. Okay,
Say it nice, that's all.
okay, I will say nicely. No, I wouldn't call it dating. Dating is when, you spend significant amount of time, right? It's been so long as I don't know what dating is.
Or maybe more so the availability. I have no idea. I know that there are several people in our community that tell me where they are online and how
Uh-huh.
they've connected with other people of interest. But I don't know about it, so I don't talk about it. I don't know anything about any of those.
Well, I met, I met a few, like 4 gentlemen, just walking about. So that's not dating.
No.
No, so I went coffee, with 2 of them. But that's not dating. So the most, so I'm not dating. The most time I've spent with them was like 3 times, 3 dates, or 3 outings. I'll call them dates.
Yeah,
3 outings for coffee.
well, if you're a dude, I'd say there's more women here. That
For
part,
sure.
I don't know, sorry, I don't know if Cisco is a female or a male, but I think for sure, if you're open to, dating locally, or if someone's interested in you, then I think that there's definitely interest there, because I find that there's a lot of attraction to Black culture and Black people in general. Our hair, yeah, they will come up and try to grab your hair, I'm like, don't touch. So that part I think isn't difficult.
Yeah, and then I think that's just curiosity.
Yeah,
I don't know how serious they are and, getting to know you as a person. I think they're curious.
yeah,
They're curious about the hair.
yeah, that part.
Yeah.
So I know there are several, women that are actively speaking to some
Mhm.
local, fellas, and they're cute together. They
Yeah,
look cute
there are
together,
people
so,
who find,
yeah,
companionship here. So
Right,
it's
that's a good
here,
word.
companionship, yeah.
that's a good word.
It's
yeah.
here.
I think you have to be open to it, but if you're looking
Mhm.
to, I think strictly anywhere in Mexico, stay within your culture, it might be a little more challenging to, because I find that the male population in this regard in our culture is way less, and a lot of them are already married.
Attached,
They
yeah.
came with someone already,
Yeah,
so
they're
I
attached.
hope that answers your question.
Mhm.
How far is the beach? So yes, there are a lot more women than men. Yes, that's usually the case. How far are we from the beach? About 4.5 hours if you have your own car, a little longer by bus. And that's Zihuatanejo. It's pretty nice over there. There are several beaches in that area, so you can certainly get there by bus as well. Or if you have a vehicle, let's see. Hi, Lorraine, welcome. Let's see, she said 27 days away till my move. Yes, we can't wait. That'll be a lot of fun. Let's see. So I guess one of the other things that maybe to talk about is, did you find it kind of easy to make the decision? And why do you think people are attracted? Yes, about the community part, but, in terms of maybe let's talk about the cost of living, did you find it also kind of easy to find a place within your budget, and are you happy there?
Yes.
Simply yes.
I did a lot of research before I came here, and I knew, I'd been looking at the Facebook groups about the places for rent, and I knew what I wanted to pay, because I wanted to decrease my output.
Right.
And it was very easy finding a place to stay. I stayed at Casa ELM for a week. Then I moved into an Airbnb, very affordable and gorgeous. And I happened to mention to my host that I was looking for a permanent place. And she said, "Oh, really?"
How nice.
And I started getting all these pictures and videos of other properties that she had, that she wanted to have a long-term tenant there. So, within a couple of weeks, I was in a permanent space, and I ended up leaving that first space, but I moved into another one of the properties.
Okay.
It was just, and I am saving a considerable amount of money, because, I pay rent every month, but I'm not paying utilities. And even though I am a long-term tenant, she still treats my apartment as if it's an Airbnb. So I have someone coming in every other week to do house cleaning, and she brings supplies with her.
Wow.
So nice. It makes a difference. I don't have to buy those things. So I think that makes living here very affordable and attractive.
Okay, excellent. That's a good point, because and I said this to someone last week about, well, we had a relocation tour for April, but I was telling them sometimes if you find a place that you really like, and I've said this on other lives, that even if it's a little bit outside of your budget, and I say a little bit because we still have to contend with the exchange rate, which, the US dollar is like kind of weakening in this regard. However, I do think as a apple to orange or apple to apple comparison, that the cost of living is still less if you choose to, kind of take time to find a place that works for you in your budget. I do think there are places that you can find. So I was saying to someone, even if it's a little bit outside of what you thought you would want to pay, always consider what are the costs for my utilities, my internet, if you switch to a Mexican cell phone, things like that, like you are going to be decreasing on those as well. So maybe if you see that dream place that you're like, I really love this, and it's $50 outside of my budget, you don't want to be lots outside, but if it's $50, maybe it's worth taking it, because your other costs are going to be a lot less. So I think that that's something to think about. And a lot of places will offer the housekeeping lots of times, because once you kind of have that person in your mix, it's hard to fire them.
Yeah, the rules are different, right?
Yeah.
And I think just for me, just the peace of mind, I have this really good relationship with the landlady and her family. And I know I could find places that would be less expensive. However, you know, just having that good relationship, that good connection, you know, if anything happens or if I needed help, you know, I could just text
Right.
and somebody would be there. I wouldn't necessarily have that in another location with another
Right.
property owner. So
That's a great point.
That's true.
That's a great point.
Mhm.
So how did you find, and we'll get to your version of finding a place that you decided on. How did you find the contract setup? Just doing was it simple? Just signed on the
She's like,
dotted
no
line.
contract.
Okay, not trying to bust you up or anything.
She's like, what
yeah,
contract?
there was no contract.
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
You know, and yeah, that
Excuse me.
I don't know that I would advise people, you know, don't worry about it, but I think I'm in a good situation, and if I ever need to move, it's not going to be.
So you're not committed
I'm not
to
committed.
something. You can also, on both sides, you can get up and do your thing. Okay, so you're happy there. I'm happy, you're happy. I haven't seen it yet. Haven't seen yours yet either. So how was your process? What did you feel about it?
Fairly easy. I also stayed here at Casa ELM, but I stayed a whole month.
That's right.
You couldn't get rid of me. I was so comfortable.
We didn't want to get rid of you.
I was so comfortable. I didn't want to leave, but I eventually found a place. It actually took that month. I planned on staying a month, to look around, to get the layout of the land, and to see where I wanted to be, and you know, the rentals can scan the whole gamut. You can really get something really affordable. And you can spend a lot of money if you want. It's just, you know, what kind of lifestyle you want to have. So remember, I mentioned one of the reasons I came to Mexico was because of the lower cost of living. So I'm not willing to pay US dollars.
Right.
So some people are, you know, but I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm
me
not
neither.
willing to pay that kind of money for rentals, etc. So I opted to get something that's, you know, not very expensive. It was relatively easy to find. I used a real estate agent that was introduced to me through Casa ELM.
Well, I interviewed Maru. It's Maru.
It's Maru. And well, the thing about that, one, the fact that she came through Casa ELM, there's a trust element.
Right.
Now, that whole soft landing is not just being in a foreign land. It's the people that, you know, that we network with. So there becomes a trust issue. So
Yeah.
so I went that way. And she helped me find a place, and it was relatively easy. It wasn't a problem finding. We looked at a few places, and I chose what I thought was in my budget. I'm outside of Central, but I walk to Central. Even though I'm outside of Central, I walk to
Right.
Central almost at least 3-4 times a week.
That's perfect.
Oh, yeah,
Exercise.
it's your shape, yeah.
Exactly.
You don't have
How
to pay for
far-
a gym, ladies, just, you know.
Even if you're in Central, there are lots of hills.
There's lots of hills, a cobblestone.
Yeah.
That just gets you going. But I wouldn't say I had a problem. It was relatively easy. I do have a contract, you know, so that just tells you there's a whole gamut, right,
Right.
of way things can go. I have a contract. I actually have, where yours is really personal because the landlord, mine, I never met my landlord. I have the apartment through a property manager. So I know the property manager, although on the lease, it's somebody else's name.
Probably
Which
the
is the
owner.
owner.
Right. They may live somewhere else.
Yes. Yes. So
That's how it was when I first moved here. And that's how I met Maru, the realtor. She was representing the owner of that place. And they were living, I think, 2 or something hours away.
yeah.
So that's common. What I found interesting, not that this matters to us, but at each year when my contract was up, they still used her to re-sign, but they would pay her 1 month commission each time
Oh,
to set it up and do
it's an
like
ongoing
relocates.
thing, huh?
I don't think that's everyone, but I know that that was there, and probably just, I think they just didn't want to be bothered at all you know, wherever they live. So,
Mhm.
well, that's cool. And you didn't, like, did you have to do anything special or provide anything extra? Or did you just kind of give them the security first month? Did you have to prove anything?
Yes, actually, they wanted, of course, my residency ID, bank information to show that you can afford the place. They wanted a reference. They actually wanted a Mexican reference. Does you remember? We had that conversation. It never came to fruition because, I said, yeah, it wasn't just a reference. They wanted almost like a guarantor or guarantor. What's the name of that? I'm
That
not
is
sure.
pretty much what I don't know what it is in Spanish, but that's the gist.
Yes, that's the gist of it. I wasn't comfortable with that. I didn't think that was fair, to put you and or any Mexican that I'm just meeting within a matter of months into that kind of situation. I didn't think that was fair. So I told him, I said, no can do. Here, I can pay.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want a US reference, I'm more than happy to supply you with a US reference. They know me. I don't feel uncomfortable putting that kind of burden on somebody. So if something ever happened to me, they got me.
Right.
I don't want to do that to anybody here. So they went with it.
Okay.
Now, what they did do, again, I don't know exactly how you say it in Spanish, but it's almost like an IOU. Do you know what that is?
Yes, I
You know
do,
what I
because
mean?
I have that for where I live
It's like
right
an
now.
IOU.
And they drop off these IOUs, like a IOU, but then something to say that I pay. I never open an
Yes.
envelope. I'm like,
Oh, I open the envelope. I make sure I get it. So every month, what I did when I signed the contract, the lease, I paid 1 month and the security. Then I signed, it's just a little like banknote almost for the next 12 months or however long I'm going to be there.
okay,
So one per each month.
right,
And every month, when I give them the money, they give me
a receipt.
they give me a receipt. That is actually like a receipt, but they give me back that IOU for the month. Because that IOU, whatever it's called in Spanish, is legally binding. That's why it's very important you make sure you get it back. Because if someone wanted to, they had that kind of, frame of mind, they can take that to the Mexican court and say, here, she signed this and I never got this money. That's because they never gave it back to you, even though you paid.
That's a good point.
It's very important to get that.
Because I do get them, but I haven't opened, I get a chunk at a time
No.
for where I live. And okay, yeah, that's good to know, because
Yeah.
I've never looked at them. I just, because when I lived in El Secreto, we didn't have that at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. I think that's a part of it, but also maybe they're supposed to pay taxes on what you pay them.
I think so,
Supposed
but
to? I
that's
don't really
not.
know. Maybe it's unrelated. I'm not trying to get
well,
anyone in
that has
trouble.
nothing- Yeah.
So we'll just drop that topic. So, okay, so your process wasn't difficult at all, and you both got places that were furnished or semi-furnished, right?
Mine is furnished, it's completely furnished. And and when I saw that, apartments were furnished, I was expecting just furniture. But my apartment has knives and forks and pans and pots and pans.
Airbnb.
And it's like, well, wow,
Everything.
even a coffee maker,
Yeah.
it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Mine is furnished like that also, but mine was overly furnished.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
No, I actually had to move some. I really did.
Yeah, I remember you saying
Yeah.
that. I was like, get it all out at once.
It was, yes.
Don't keep going back and
Yes.
saying, hey, can you
Yes.
come and get your
Yes, I'm
sofa?
glad I secured nice.
No, because that happened to me when yeah, so I was undecided initially, do I bring stuff? Or do I just kind of see, do I like it? Like, do we like it here? What are we gonna do? And then last minute, I was like, no, I want to bring my things because I really wanted it to feel like my home. And so there was stuff already there. And it wasn't, I mean, I don't know, I haven't seen your place, I haven't seen other places, but the point is, it wasn't
Yes.
fancy necessarily, but it wasn't bad. I was just kind of looking at it like, oh, I can work with this. And then eventually I said, no, I want to bring my things. So the point is if you have stuff that you're bringing, just get unfurnished and make the investment. If you know for sure you want to be here, I'm assuming if you move furniture down, you know you want to be here. Because it really wasn't worth putting their things in storage unless they're willing to pay for it. But I asked after I signed the lease, I was like, can you come and pay for this? And they were just like, no, not at all.
Yeah,
So,
same with me. They were not willing to pay for anything, but I just kept asking them, bugging them. I said, I can't live like this.
yeah, can I put it on the street?
It was really bad. It was really bad. So I can't do it. I can't do it. So I kept bugging them, and eventually they found someplace.
Oh, good.
So what it has nothing to do with me. They found someplace. They gave me someplace to store it. I was responsible for transporting it. So
Okay.
I just had, got somebody to with a truck, and I transported it. I made sure that I got pictures and, changed the contract a little bit to make sure, because the things, the furnishings are listed
Yeah,
as an addendum.
right, exactly.
So to make sure they get it back. So change that a little bit, and it's fine.
Good.
It's fine. What I would recommend, if you're coming here and you get a place that's not furnished, and you're gonna either bring your stuff, if you bring your stuff, it's fine. But if you're gonna purchase things, excuse me, make sure you really love it. Make sure you're gonna stay there at least a couple of years.
Oh, yeah. for
Because
sure.
here you are, you're gonna pay money to buy furnishings, okay, and then you're gonna move it. It just gets to be a lot. I knew I just needed enough to be comfortable where I'm at.
Mhm.
And the reason I signed a 1 year's lease, that's so again, I can look for something more permanent, more me, where I will in turn put my own furnishings.
Right, okay. Do you think you're gonna move stuff from?
Home? Oh, no,
No, okay.
too much trouble.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I
Too much
I
trouble.
decided to sell
Mhm,
everything, and I found this service online that does online auctions,
Mhm.
and they sent a group of ladies to my home one day, and they spent about 4 hours organizing things in batches, and then they posted the auction. Auction lasted like maybe a week.
Mhm.
And I was amazed at the stuff that sold. I mean, stuff that I had a bunch of sewing machines, and some of them were even broken, and they sold.
Yes, so-
Wow, were they kind of vintage?
No,
No, just
Just
sewing.
broken.
they were just broken.
Do you sew?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
great. Good to
Okay.
know.
Nice.
You sew for yourself or you sew for others? Okay, no answer.
I like to make things, and I do sew for myself, and I have some for others.
Nice.
Crochet.
Okay,
And,
well, that's interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, so I think we have all three possibilities of moving, because I know that comes up a lot where people ask about, did you move your things? Should I sell my things? I really think, and I tell everyone, it's a personal choice, if you still have a place, like you have a place in the US, you can just say, okay, I'm leaving my things in my house, and I don't want the burden of moving things. When I came down, initially, I wasn't sure, but before getting on the plane, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely
stuff.
not, right, I want my things, but I also wanted it, I think, again, it was more of like a family kind of unit decision where I was the one pushing to leave, so I rented the house to feel like home. So those things were kind of important to me. If I had it to do over again, I probably would repeat because I liked my stuff and I didn't want to, like you said earlier, it's not so easy to just go out and find things here. Like it's not like the US where you can just kind of get stuff.
I'm dying for home goods, I gotta tell you.
I know.
I'm dying.
I know. Hi,
It's
Yolanda.
not that
No,
easy.
there are a lot of antique and secondhand stores around me, so I just have to walk by this.
I have to say, I do miss a good thrift store, a good one. I do miss that. I mean, looking for clothes drove me crazy. I couldn't do that part, but I like the home stuff. There was one in kind of West Palm Beach. It was called World Thrift, and it was
Yes,
huge. Do
yeah,
you remember?
I do.
It was
I think they have
huge.
one in Hollywood too.
Probably.
It's very big.
I used to get a lot of things for home.
Yeah.
Just
Unusual
unusual, yeah,
things.
unusual, cool
Yeah.
stuff. I still have some of those things even here. And the prices were to die for. So they're consignment in thrift stores here, but
Not cheap.
and not
Because
that
they're
nice.
not that nice. And I think the ones that I've frequented, they're catering to the foreign population. So they're catering actually to the Americans. So they're charging you serious money.
I'm making faces, you guys, because I'm listening, because when I was trying to furnish where we are, we're at Casa ELM today, if I didn't say that. Well, let me welcome people. Okay, Yaharo, welcome. Auntie Lou, welcome. I'll look at your question. Hi, Yolanda, welcome. And Lioness, welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to hit the like button. I always forget to say that. I always have someone in the chat that says it for me. But when I was looking, I thought it would be a little bit faster to find and furnish, because I really didn't want a lot of things. But I went to, what's the name of that place? La Finca? Have you been there? You've probably been
Well,
there.
I think is that.
No,
No,
there's a
there's
place
not.
called,
Suenos.
no, that's
It's,
one, that's Los Sueños, but there's also another place called La
I
Finca.
think, no, I
It's a
haven't been there.
consignment shop.
Oh,
Have you
that's
been
what
there?
you told me about. Yes. But you need an
Yes.
appointment?
No, you don't need you don't need an appointment. When they're open, you can just walk in. Anywho, they think they're restoration home, y'all. Not. It is gorgeous. Like, they do such an amazing job with everyone's used things that.
Yeah, but
really
they're not restoration hardware.
not. That's right. That's the name of it.
They shouldn't be charging restoration hardware.
I'm telling you, I saw a throw pillow, 18 by 18
A throw pillow.
for your whatever. I don't remember what it looked like, but I picked it up and it was $100 US.
Ooh, my.
Yes, Elaine could make those for us.
Yes. For a lot less than 800.
Right, exactly. There's a business right there for those who
They
sell.
have 18 by 18 pillows in the US for $800. It'd be crazy to pay that kind of
It was
money.
no, 100, even 100. I mean, it was a pillow you could possibly find at like a TJ Maxx
Oh,
store
no.
or Marshalls for like $29.99,
Yeah,
at
the
least
most.
5 years ago when I was shopping in these stores. I don't know what they cost now, but they're definitely not $100.
No.
I mean, some nice stuff in there. When I was looking for a dining room table, they had a really nice table that could have worked in this space. I can't remember. I want to say it was possibly an 8-seater. I wanted a 10. So it was marble on top. It was really beautiful. And they had it right at the entrance and I was willing to pay for it, but it had a crack in the marble somehow, like a small crack, but enough where they were telling you in advance, they're not responsible for moving it if it breaks.
Great.
I was like, well, then you need to drop the price.
Yeah, heavily.
Yeah, it was still expensive. So the point is that store does exist. They have beautiful things. They do collect, I think, from, some of the luxury houses. Estate sales are also a good way to get furniture. You can find like your basic things, for example, good mattresses, decent sheets. I say decent, bring your sheets. I already told y'all, bring your sheets, bring your curtains.
And your curtains.
Yeah, bring your curtains, your sheets and your down comforter.
Go to Querétaro, like you told me. I went all the way to Querétaro.
Costco.
Costco didn't have curtains. They did have sheets. They didn't have curtains, but I went to Zara Home.
Or Elaine could make some, just kidding.
You're giving her a job, but she's here to relax.
No, we all gotta have a side hustle. No, I'm just kidding. I was gonna say, if you are looking for curtains, and I didn't know this
Mhm.
until after the fact, Karencita makes curtains.
And I just
And they're
learned
very
this.
affordable
I just learned it after going to Zara Home, all the way in Corrector, and you
and they're expensive.
paying Zara money, right? Yes, they make curtains.
Well, bring your
Yes.
sewing machine.
That too, that too.
Yeah.
So, but no, Parisina is a
Yeah.
fabric store. It's a
Right.
chain in Mexico. And I didn't know this beforehand, or I would have I would have just, so you pick your fabric and they will make, I think they have the 3 styles like this, where you
Mhm.
just slide. It's just, you slide the rod through. They have the panel, what do we
With the
call that?
hoops.
Yeah, the hoop, and then they
Mhm.
have the grommet. And they will literally make them with you, for you,
Mhm.
I think within 2 weeks or less, and I think it's like really inexpensive.
I
It's
think
like,
what Will told me was.
It is like-
almost free. It was.
yeah,
so
it was like 30,
inexpensive.
it's like 30
Very inexpensive.
pesos, I think, or
Very
50
cheap.
pesos per panel. But you have to buy the fabric at
Mhm.
their store, but they have
They
a
have a
pretty
good
decent
selection.
selection, right? So I bought these curtains at IKEA, but they were high water curtains, so there was like about this much from the ground in most places. And then I had a seamstress, I bought more fabric. And that's when I discovered they make the panels, and I was like, can you sew these pieces onto these curtains? They said, no, they don't do that, but they make them from scratch. So I had to add another piece so that it was touching the ground, because yeah, we don't
That's
like high
actually-
water curtains.
No. That's actually good to know. I wish I knew.
Me
before.
too, me too. I didn't know. Suzette
Yeah.
told me.
And
And she,
is that fabric store here?
yes, it's
next
that
to
Liverpool, La
Liverpool.
Lucinarga.
Oh, okay, I just
that
found out how to
plaza.
get to Liverpool by bus, so
Yeah.
I can make the trek,
Yeah.
trek and check out the fabric.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you
there's a
like
lot of
sewing and stuff.
fabrics. Mhm.
Yeah, they have a good selection. It's a good size
Mhm.
store. I've purchased fabric there for some other things. I don't remember exactly. I think like costumes for Micah, but they do have a decent
Mhm.
selection. They also have curtains like blackouts.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
again,
blackout curtains.
they're short.
Mhm.
If
High
you need them
waters.
long. Yeah, high waters. But and it's not expensive. I
Mhm.
actually got some black fabric a few weeks ago to extend the ones down in the yoga room, because
Mhm.
those were also too short. And yeah, and then you can find people to do the work.
Mhm.
There's a woman that I use and she doesn't charge a lot either. So,
Good to know.
yeah, so that's like something to think about.
Mhm.
But as far as like really moving things, I think again, it's a personal choice. I think.
Definitely. If it's something you just love and it's been in your family forever, especially if you're selling everything in the US.
Right.
It's either you bring it with you, sell it, and you don't want to do that because you love it, put it in storage, personal choice, that's an expense. For me, it's just easier to come with nothing.
Yeah, come with a suitcase.
Come with a suitcase. I did have to bring my clothes. I had to go back.
Oh, yeah.
And get some clothing.
Oh, yeah, you said you were cold. I think you said that, and I saw you last year.
Well,
Yeah.
cooking is very important to me,
Yeah.
and so, letting go of my Cuisinart cookware was difficult, but a lot of the smaller apartments have kitchenettes, so you don't necessarily have a full stovetop and oven. So where I am, I have a hot plate and like a dorm site, not those tiny dorm styles, but a small
medium.
refrigerator. And so I bought there's department stores here. So I bought an electric oven.
Okay.
And it does like 15 different things, it dehydrates, it's air fryer, it does the oven.
Yeah,
So-
everything you need.
yeah, and I haven't used all those different settings, but they're available to me. And I can do some really nice cooking with just a hot plate and that electric oven. And another thing that was hard to let go was I had this huge collection of seasonings. But I found some really interesting seasonings here. There's a store in El Centro where I found za'atar, which is a Middle Eastern seasoning. So I got, a little jar of that, and I'm gonna experiment with some recipes.
Nice.
And in the States, I would never buy saffron because it's just too expensive.
Did you find it here?
But I found it here, and I found a pretty large container in City Market of all places. And it's not that expensive.
What store did you get the previous the season you mentioned?
The za'atar, it was a Bonanza.
That's what I was gonna say. So
I've been
Bonanza is a
there,
small.
Bonanza.
Bonanza, they don't have produce there, but they have
Have a lot of
Like
specialties,
and-
like specialty items.
specialty, or like if you're on a special diet, like if you're vegan or vegetarian or keto or whatever.
Oh,
They have
okay.
stuff.
Good to know.
They have a good spice selection, because I remember going in, and they have it kind of how Whole Foods used to have like all the individual
Mhm.
containers, and they just kind of
Right,
scoop
you
it
just scoop it up.
for you, whatever it is you want. And they had curry, like Jamaican
Like real curry?
curry. Cause there's Thai, there's Indian. I'm like,
Source of
no,
curry.
I don't want that. I want Jamaican curry. So, and I usually bring my own, like I have, you could shop in my spice cabinet, because I have multiples of things.
Mm.
But they actually had it at Bonanza,
Wow.
and that's right in
I have to go check it
Central.
out. I mean, I've walked past it, but I've never
It's,
actually.
it doesn't look big, but it kind of goes deep.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
keep going to the back, towards the back, so.
Good to know.
And
See.
I even found sushi rice there
Really?
and garam masala,
Mhm.
Yes,
Wow.
masala is the Indian, the
Mhm.
tikka masala, I missed that.
Mhm.
Let's go back to the chat. Hi, Yolanda, I miss you too. Yes, she was here, yes, for a visit recently. Auntie Lou, before COVID, I thrifted some really nice brand name clothing. I plan on bringing them with me, yeah. Yes, the prices have gone up on everything. Everything. I mean, we were discussing that earlier today, Brianna and I, about plane tickets.
Oh,
I was
my
on,
goodness,
I had a
plane tickets.
consultation with another client who's coming in July, I think. She just got approved, and she
Plane
was just like,
tickets.
plane tickets everything's expensive. I don't know how you guys are doing it over there in the US, but.
Yeah, it's very expensive.
And I cashed a check today, and it's even less. The US dollar is
It's not doing
definitely,
so well.
yes,
You know, when
what's
I
going
came
on?
here and.
I gotta have a drink.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
telling you.
I think, the US dollar going down
Yes.
requires alcohol.
From any vineyard,
It doesn't
anywhere.
matter.
We don't even care what it says on the bottle. It's just drink.
Yes, it's drink. No, I'm still.
Yeah, okay, just let me know.
But we need to.
But at least
I can't.
you can afford eggs here.
Oh, that's true. I buy eggs every single week. I
And my
buy,
family's telling me how expensive eggs is back home.
I heard,
Extremely expensive.
I heard,
Mhm.
I heard. Yeah, I bought, I don't even know, to be honest, because I buy like that giant pack.
Mhm.
Because, Micah likes them, and that's what he knows how to cook. And I'm like, have at it. Make your breakfast, whatever it is and it's so versatile. I like eggs because I like making like fried rice with egg and shrimp or whatever, we do like different recipes. And I also like to bake so that I'm not buying baked goods out, because I like kind of baked goods you can have with coffee. So like a lemon cake or banana bread or something like that. Which I don't know, I'm sure some places have it, but it's probably pricey. But eggs, I would say, so what day was it? I went to buy a few things the other day. I got eggs and my weekly vegetables and fruits. And then the basic things I need, like every now and then I need a bottle of Clorox and a bottle of Fabuloso for my house, a bottle of the little dish soap. And I think I spent $20, but I had like a bunch of stuff, plus my eggs, my little cart. Great,
For
yeah,
$20?
about 20 US.
Well, that's pretty good.
No, I'm not complaining.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that you can still save in this regard because the eggs are not expensive. The other items are not expensive, but other things are, you know, even with our dollar kind of not having the same strength, you can still get
It's
a
still
lot.
pretty strong when you consider right now it's what, 18 to.
17.68. That's what it was today. And it's so painful, like.
That is painful considering when I came here last year, it was 20,
I know.
you know?
When I moved here 5 years ago, it stayed around 18 to 19 for the longest.
Also, it's been around that.
I've never seen it at 17 anything.
Ooh.
And every month I put my check, I'm like, oh, yeah, today yeah. We're not gonna complain because it's still affordable, but.
It is still affordable, but it's very important of where you go because for the longest I hear people say, well, you know, I bought all this for $20 and that wasn't my experience. And
Where did you go? To City Market?
very rare.
Just say yes, because wait, I have to give you guys an amazing cute joke. Why this was her place. So last year when she did the tour, remember it's the day we went to Flor de Jamaica restaurant up the street. She was shopping all day and she waltzed in and she's like, this is my city. And she had bags hanging off her arm. So, you know, at some point, we're no longer on Sex in the City and we're like, yeah, San Miguel.
Set in.
Right, exactly. Oh, I need to shop at the farmer's market.
No more Sex in the City. Took off the, is it Manolos?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Took them off. I have my, these are not even Skechers. They're no name shoes.
Girl, yes.
No, I think, you have to really go to the right place because not so much City Market. Every now and then I would go there because I was told it's, you know, it's more expensive. But La Comer, they were not cheap. I was expecting to come out with a lot of stuff for my $70. And I'm coming out with a little bit of something. I'm like, wait a minute. I have to talk to people. I'm doing something wrong because everybody else is getting a deal. Well, I was not.
And it a lot of times, you can shop inexpensively at any of the stores if you're conscious of the brand that you're buying.
True.
If you are faithful to a certain brand, and especially if it's an American brand, it's going to be more expensive than a Mexican
You're
brand.
right. I'm faithful to cheap. And you are absolutely right because Maru took me shopping.
Where?
City Market. She showed me how to shop, like you just said, at City Market.
Okay.
So City Market, just like back home, has its own brand. Golden Hills.
Oh, okay.
That's
Isn't that a US brand though?
I don't know. City Market. It's cheaper than what you will find.
Okay.
She told me that was City Market's brand. But Golden Hills. And then they have days when the produce is very inexpensive. Wednesdays.
Why? Because it's almost getting ready to get tossed. What's the reason?
Well, remember, they do the farmers do the round on Mondays, it's at the way out there, and then on Tuesday it comes to the local market, and then by Wednesday it hits La Comer.
Oh, okay.
But then they're much less. No, they've been pretty good.
Okay.
You know, not rotten.
No, I'm just joking because City Market is very high end and very fancy.
High end is fancy.
Very
Can't be
clean,
too rotten.
like it's really nice.
Produce is beautiful.
Produce is beautiful. On Wednesdays, they have
Like
they
a
drop
sale?
their prices,
Yeah,
on
I didn't know
Wednesdays.
that.
So we go.
I didn't know that.
Wednesdays.
Okay, that's a good idea. See, we gotta hang out with the local
You
people.
gotta
They
hang out with
will
the
tell you.
locals. You gotta hang out with the
Yes,
locals.
you know,
Mhm.
you can't, my thing is this, what I've found recently, I say like in the last couple of months is the basic things that I need and use are at the little fruterias.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the local people shop at the local fruterias. A lot of the people that are, maybe not with, a lot of income or money,
Mhm.
they don't go to La Caber.
Yeah.
I hear all the time, they're like, oh, this is really expensive. And I'm kind of like, no, it's not. In my mind, it doesn't
For you,
seem
right.
expensive, but there are products, like you said, that are imported from the US that are more expensive.
Much
So
more.
I think just being aware of that and also doing the math when you pick it up. I've not done that several times, and then I look at the bill and I'm just
It's
like,
a
oh,
price.
wow, I would never pay this price for this item in the US,
Right.
so I think just kind of being aware, and I think we learn as we go.
Yes.
Right?
For sure.
Now I just shop literally, I shop at the fruterias because they have the basic things, because I always cook with the same kind of items. That's my base, my poblano, my tomato, my onion, my garlic.
Mhm.
And then I like, sometimes I use like the chili peppers
Mhm.
that are coming in the can. I don't
Mhm.
do the dry ones because there's so many, I don't know how hot they are or not.
Mhm.
And then I get my dried things from there. And if I need something, maybe I'll go to La Camere. And on Tuesdays, I'll go and buy like my fish at the Tuesday market.
Yes.
Because their prices are very good.
And I was
seafood.
there this Tuesday and I got, I think, the most bang for my buck.
Oh,
I mean, I had a bag
I
this
know.
full.
It's
of
amazing.
fruits and stuff. It was really, it's good. Plus plants.
yes.
Yeah.
And herbs, fresh
And
herbs for
yeah,
25
fresh herbs.
pesos, which is used to be $1 and
Well,
change.
I found an herb lady and she had those big, you just take a scoop.
Ooh,
And I bought 3 or 4 different types of herbs and the most expensive one was 8 pesos.
that's a good price.
Yeah,
'cause
well,
I'm
you
usually
know.
pay about 20 or 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
So-
rabbits ate them all though.
Your rabbits.
Yeah, they ate them, those rascals. I was like, I'm putting rocks in these pots so they can't dig anymore. So no, that's a good, I think, again, you learn as you get here, kind of where to go. Again, it's not even about not having the money
No.
to buy things. That's not the point. It's
Mhm.
just kind of knowing where to shop for certain things.
Mhm.
Like, I'm all about getting something I really want when I really want it. And I'm talking about food stuff because I
Mhm.
like to eat.
Mhm.
I'm not necessarily going to splurge on other items, but on food things. But it's also good to know, like, okay, I can get quality seafood on Tuesdays, and I have to make a plan to do that. Or I can get quality meats from the butcher, because it's an actual butcher, and they deliver to your house, just so you know. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I
They
did not, but
deliver.
you must tell me who.
I will send you the contact.
Send me the contact. Yes,
Yeah, I
did not know
had them
that.
deliver oxtails
Oh,
a
my.
couple months ago. It was at my house in an hour.
What about fish? Because I
They-
don't eat meat.
Well, they have tilapia. I don't eat
No, I
tilapia.
don't eat
And they
that.
have shrimp, but that's it.
Okay.
I don't know. There might be another place that delivers, but I don't know. I usually go to the Tuesday market
Mhm.
for those things, but those places can be more affordable than just going to the grocery store, even though I think La Camere has pretty good prices, like the salmon I bought
Uh-huh.
for Friday, our
Mhm.
Friday night dinner. I thought that was a great price. I
Mhm.
mean, it was more than 2 kilos, I think.
Mm,
And that was around $30
that's not
US.
bad.
Yeah, it was a pretty
Big
big,
chunk.
yeah,
Mhm.
big piece.
Mhm.
All right, let's see who's commenting over here. Linus, I'm glad you were able to find Jamaican curry, yes. Woo-hoo. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
There are a lot of people with Caribbean roots here.
Mhm.
I think that's really interesting.
Yes, yes.
I was gonna say something, but I don't want to get in trouble with your viewers.
What? What?
Well, about the Caribbean route. I think that's just the Caribbean thing. We venture out.
Yeah, I think
I
so
mean,
too.
we do. I mean,
Yeah,
Caribbeans venture out.
yeah,
You'll find them far and wide. They just tend to
Yeah.
venture out.
I find that interesting. It's funny because I spoke to my dad today. He lives in Cali, and he was asking me how many Jamaican people were here, or, just a question I couldn't answer. And I was just like, I'm not sure, but I know we have a nice mix of people from the islands. You're
Yes.
from Haiti.
Mhm.
I don't know if you have any Caribbean roots.
Not really.
No.
I spent a year in Jamaica, but
Oh,
No, that's rude enough.
Yeah, you got two
That's
roots
rude.
there. You practice your patois.
Yeah,
Um,
almost Jamaican.
right, exactly. But we have several people from Trinidad, Haiti, Shan's from Bahamas.
Barbados.
Bahamas.
Is it Bahamas?
Bahamas. I've heard of a few other people that are from Haiti and also Jamaica.
Mhm.
Haven't met them.
Mhm.
So,
Relations, I've met you.
yeah, that's a good point, a
Mhm.
good observation.
Mhm.
But yes, you can get, I feel like you can get a lot of seasonings here, and then you can also look on amazon.com.mex. I've seen Jamaican curry,
Mhm.
the
I found
Bavian.
Maggie here. If
Uh,
there's any of my Haitian peeps out there, they all know about Maggie.
Yes,
So I found Maggie here.
yeah, where did you find it at the?
La
grocery store?
Comer.
Okay,
okay.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like Maggie's also Latino.
Well, they
Oh.
took it from the Haitians. Nonsense.
Uh,
I'm just talking nonsense.
Keep drinking, girl.
I don't know. I'm just making that up.
Lorraine was mentioning the loss of cookware. Yes,
Mm.
yes, I hear that. I need good knives if anyone wants to bring that down.
Mhm.
I'm glad you're able to find it. Okay, we got that one. I'm bringing. Sorry, hold on. Someone said, can they bring art supplies?
Yes.
Yes,
You can bring paint, things like that.
yes.
I think you can mail it. You may not want to put it in a
Mail in it, I don't
suitcase.
think you can,
Mhm.
because I told you guys about my fiasco. We're trying to mail something through FedEx.
But
They're
what,
extremely strict.
but what was it?
Perfume,
Hmm.
okay, so just
Maybe
regular
flammable.
perfume. Paint, so, no, check, it's on the website.
I think you
It's on
can
the
bring
website.
paint supplies in your suitcase, but the check-in.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty sure you can, because I know Mona Lisa is doing her paint and sips.
Mhm.
And I think she
She
brought a
bought
lot of,
paint.
I think so.
You might be able to bring it in your suitcase,
Okay.
because the things that I was not allowed to ship through FedEx, they took it. When I went home, I put it in my suitcase.
Yeah.
And checked them in.
You can't bring, you can't ship vitamins and medicines. Somehow that came up, I don't know if it was last week or with someone else,
That's
but you
true.
can't ship
Mhm.
medicines, even if it's a prescription to yourself, you have to,
Bring it with you.
right. That came up in one of the questions that we had on the
Mhm.
relocation tour.
But there is a service that will drive it here.
That's right.
Drive it here.
Yeah, drive
Yeah,
it
the
here
law
from
connects you.
Zumalo,
Mm.
from Texas. So,
Ah,
but it's not a quick process.
okay, right. So if you really need it, you might wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let's see, I'm in PH, okay, welcome. Can I bring an unopened acrylic paint in my? I think so. I'm pretty sure you can, Kim. I would check with the airlines on that. Don't take our final word for it. Let's see, I haven't checked. Tabletop easel. I'm pretty sure you can bring those things. And yes, there are art support, clear, yes, lots of art supply places here.
Yeah.
I
And
think
classes,
we're
lots of classes.
classes, there is,
Galleries galore.
yeah, yes, so lots of art supply
Lots of
places.
art.
And if you wanted to go even like to Querétaro or go to Querétaro and just look it up, art supply. In Querétaro, you'll see like a list, I forget the name of the place here. I think there's one place called Pato, which means duck in Spanish, and I forget the other places, but yes, we do have that. Same about gentrification is killing. I'm not sure what the comment was before that. Let's see, I'm gonna check tomorrow. Okay, okay, Auntie Lou's looking at places in Querétaro, Guadalajara, Guanajuato, and Puebla. Yes. Let's see, construction noise are driving me crazy. It's the last sign for me to leave, hopefully before my lease is up in November. Okay, that's like an inner conversation. I'm missing the top part. Sorry, ladies. Let's see, it's out of control in the summer coming. Tourists will be back on there. I guess they're having a lot of things, construction and maybe in New York. Seems like near Brooklyn, that's what they're talking about. San Diego, one of my Mexican acquaintances comment about the rising prices due to the influx of, is this scapegoating? That's a good question. I do think that definitely prices, for example, cost of living, renting places has gone up in San Miguel, mostly here, because I live here. So I'm not going to talk about other places because expats have come. Would I wholly blame it on expat population? No, because at 170,000 people who populate San Miguel, we're 10,000, maybe 12, right?
And that's not just Black and San Miguel, that's
No,
total.
that's expats total,
Okay,
foreigners.
So that's not a lot.
And it's not a lot. And I also think from what I've seen and living here for 5 years is in a lot of the affluent places, I still see mostly locals. I feel like this is my opinion, because I like to go sometimes to fancy restaurants. And when I get there, I mostly see Mexicans.
Yes.
Affluent Mexicans.
Absolutely.
So I don't know that we're the only ones contributing to Mexico's rising prices. I feel that what's happening in the world in general is prices have gone up. Why ever they're trying to catch up because of, losing a lot of money during COVID and things like this. I'm not saying that we don't contribute, because I do think that there are those who can come and pay some crazy to us amount of money for just a rent or a house or a place. And they don't question it, right? Or they don't say, well, that sounds a lot. Maybe I should investigate this. They just are like, oh, okay, sure, I'll pay $3,000 for
That one better.
Or yeah, I mean, you probably get a lot more, but the point is that that's not been the norm over the last, years and decades. So clearly, if that demand keeps growing and exists, people are, if I own a house, I'm not going to say, oh no, you're gentrified. Give me, this is not going to happen, right? People aren't going to ask for less, because that's their house. They want to make the most off of whatever their property is. Is it right? Is it not? It's not my business. I don't over concern myself with these things. But what I do think is that things do cost more in general. I do think that prices here, even in my opinion, are really high in some places. And I do think that there are a lot of folks that are willing to pay, but then there are a lot of folks that are not. We're still looking for things to be a little less coming from the US. As you said earlier, the point is that I'm not paying the same. For example, when I first moved here, I thought my rent would be a lot less than it was in Florida, and it wasn't for where I wanted to live. But my other things were less. So I was willing to pay that price because everything else was less. So I was kind of like, yeah, but will I personally pay thousands for rent? Heck no, like never. I would rather buy property or land. I'd rather buy a piece of land or, buy a house.
Okay.
Right. And I know that that's not always an option, but it's just, yeah. But I can say though, that I really think people have the misconception that we're somehow the majority.
Yeah,
We are not.
that's a good point.
We're not. I really honestly hate to say this, but I really feel like if we removed half of us from SMA would be fine with the people who come here. They would still be fine. Mexico will still survive without the foreign population. Facts. That's it.
And I agree with you, there are a lot of rich Mexicans,
A
very
lot.
affluent Mexicans.
A
So this
lot.
notion of what TV is showing us that Mexico is poor and they're all trying to get to the US. There's a lot of Mexicans with money. A lot of the properties, the homes, the big, beautiful homes are owned by
Mexican.
Mexicans,
Right.
not foreigners.
Right.
And like you said, 10,000 of us total, that's nothing out of 140, 170,000 people. So it's not our dollars that's driving the price of anything up or down.
Yeah.
So that's one. And number two, and that's why I always have my converter with me, because we're still thinking with US mindset, right? So let's say, I don't know, this is 100 pesos, however that is, okay? So 100 pesos, to us, it translates to what, $6 or $5?
It used to be 5.
It
It's
used to be
probably
5.
3
It's
now.
obviously-
That's a fact.
Okay, so, but looking at this from the US, you're like, oh man, that's nothing. I can pay $2-3 for this, it's really inexpensive because you're thinking like a foreigner. But 100 pesos for this glass is actually more than it should be. Okay,
Yeah.
so we have to, and that only happens with time. When your mind starts shifting from American and you start thinking pesos, then you can kind of see, wow, that's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking, you make the conversion real quick in your head, it's not that expensive, but you're used to paying a heck of a lot more in the US.
Right. And I think too, one of the things that someone told me earlier on was forget about what you paid in the United States and, oh, it's so much less expensive here. It's like, well, what would someone locally pay? We don't always know that. I know that, getting like childcare help and someone, domestic help with the home cleaning and things like that. I really do think that people were telling me, oh, like local people, Mexicans that live here, that I am friends with, they were just like, well, I only pay 60 an hour and I was paying 100 an hour because in my mind it was the same. I'm like, okay, paying, this compared to what I did pay in the US, just kind of like, oh, this makes sense to me, right?
Right.
However, they were like, well, you're the one that's making this cost more there. But I also think there's also that judgment of, am I being fair?
Exactly.
What am I getting? And am I being fair? So my thoughts are, if I can help someone in some capacity by giving them a fair salary, and that's my opinion, because it seems to be a lot of a personal thing, then why not? But I do think that, what you were saying earlier and some comment is there are a lot of people locally that own these places and houses and properties and they've businesses, and they either drive prices up based on what they see happening around them, or, and they get together. Like, you ask one person what's something and it's almost kind of like
uniform that
you
they
get
all
you get the foreign price, even if you go and ask 10 other people, they all talked about
I think
it.
they
got the
got
memo
together.
So, yeah.
You'll get the same, so don't think you can talk your deal by going to that one and that one and that one.
Right. Let's see, across the street from, okay. Smile, I'm with a big footprint, Jamaica, yes, yeah, man. I know we've been here since 1972, I left. I think they're talking about. Next summer for long term, excellent, Linus, yeah, I love I love living here. Is San Miguel friendly and how is the internet connection? I work from home. Good question. Yes to the friendly.
I also work remotely. I'm on Zoom every single day, almost, and you know, there are little bobbles here and there, but there are little bobbles here and there when I was in the States.
Mhm.
But yeah, internet connection is fast and good, reliable.
How about for you? I know you're not working necessarily, but
Right, but you know, just using the internet, it hasn't been bad at all. I mean, a couple of times things would drop. But within minutes,
It's
it's back. And you can always just keep testing. You just put Google, you know.
all the speed.
Yeah, it'll test your speed for you wherever you go, but no, that hasn't been a problem.
Let me tell you my version.
Uh-oh, uh-oh.
Okay, so I have been here for almost 5 years and I initially had a satellite kind of provider and it was good. They were out of Querétaro, but it was pricey. They were charging me and it was only internet and it was about $75 a month at that time. That was 5 years ago. It's probably 100 now, but it was pretty consistent. And then Telmex came in and put in fiber optics. And everyone in my community kind of jumped on it. I said, I'm gonna wait. You guys can guinea pig it and I will see if it's gonna work for us. And it's sort of like when we first got it, it was great. And then it kind of in between had some struggles. It could have been just because it was new. But overall, it was pretty good. And the price was a lot, like half, pretty much for the highest speed. They were pretty responsive, etc. Then getting Casa ELM because of the location. So that's more the point is it kind of depends on where you are. So I think in the heart of the city, you want to make sure like if you need to have like full speed all the time, maybe being kind of in the perimeter of what they call central or somewhat close by. I live out there on the way to Querétaro. And I have had some challenges. I had Live Telecom, which was also a satellite company. And I had here and, you know, also where I live. And here it was actually fine. But out there, it was a little sketchy. And then when I installed the security cameras, it would not work. So my neighbor, guy that lives right over here, he is kind of like a techie guy. He does like cameras and electronics and blah, blah, blah. He said it was the system I had. It was the, not the system, the internet provider.
Not the fiber optic, the provider.
Just a provider. And he was just like, you should get Telmex, blah, blah, blah. So I switched to Telmex and it worked fine. So I now have Telmex and I also have Telmex out where I am. But this week, on Monday and all day Tuesday, yesterday, no internet. And it's solvable. It's sort of like one of those things that once you live here, I'm not making excuses, but you kind of calm down about not having your conveniences. And I literally just packed all my things and I went to Rustica restaurant and they let me hang out there all day. I ordered food and yeah, so the point is there are plenty of places you can go to if that comes up, if you live somewhere where it's not always stable. But for the most part, it is stable, but I think it kind of also depends on where you are. And this isn't something that comes up all the time. And I do think that there are fixes for it, like you can get the extenders. I do
To
have
boost, like a
those.
signal booster.
Right, I have that here because we're dealing with concrete walls and things like you can see a little bit. Those are all like cement walls, so that does
Yeah.
hinder the signal. I have 3 canisters on every floor so that it kind of reaches everywhere in the house. You can also get 2 modems. So if your
One
home
from
is
downstairs.
right, like 2 separate lines or whatever. So that's
But
my
you know
story.
what I learned because back home in our community, you know, regular cable service, Comcast, Xfinity.
I call them
Ooh,
ComAss.
Comasi.
That's how they were in my phone.
Commerce.
Hated that company.
Anyway, so that's what we have back home. And they changed in my neighborhood from the regular cable service to the fiber optic. So they come in and, you know, digging people, they changed it to fiber optic. So I'm like, okay, so I have this fiber optic, but I didn't notice any difference in what I had before. So I call them up, speak with the technician. I'm like, I mean, I don't really notice anything. No, the speed, there's no difference. What needs to be buffered, buffers still.
Right.
So they explained to me, fiber optic doesn't have anything to do with what you're getting inside your home. It doesn't increase your speed. It doesn't do anything.
I thought it's supposed to make it faster.
No,
Your
no, no,
connection.
that's
Well, what
he
is it
told
for?
me. He said, no, it's for the company. It was for
To do what?
Comcast. Because one, with the fiber optic, Comcast rarely have to service anything. So it is a big decision, big money thing by trying to
Interesting.
change neighborhood upon neighborhood. They don't have anything to service with fiber optic as far
Interesting.
as compared to the box. So if any of your viewers know anything like about this, you know, you can chime in, but this is what they told me because I was expecting something magnificent.
So was I. And it felt
no,
almost the same.
there was no change.
Interesting.
So
And in the advertisements about fiber optics, you know, that's
faster.
the implication.
that's
that
what
it
I
is
was
faster.
expecting. That's what I was expecting.
That is faster.
But there was no change.
Yeah.
And when I didn't see a change, I questioned it. Like, well, what am I getting? And they're like, oh, it's not for you. So I don't change anything. You can
Interesting.
stay where you were, pay less.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
So the company.
Yeah. All right. Well, that answers that question, Tracy. So yes, I think consistently overall or generally, the service is great.
Yes.
But you will have times when you might have a hiccup. And in my case, I have a lot of like jinx moments. So, you know, I think you just have to be ready to go to wherever you are going to go to.
Mhm.
Like yesterday, I just left. I didn't plan on leaving. I had a meeting and I just left and I was like, okay, I'll just do it at a restaurant. And there are plenty of places that will allow you to tap in and hang out and use their internet.
Yeah. I think one time only I had to resort to my phone.
Yeah.
The rest of
Yeah.
the time I was okay. That was just one time. And it wasn't hours upon hours. It was a short period of time and that was that.
Yeah, let's see. Welcome Woven Psalms. She says, I'm a soaper with a suitcase of essential oils. I like it.
Oh, bring it. We need it.
Yes,
I've been looking
curious.
for some to buy.
The
Oh, bring
availability. She wants to know about ordering. You know, I don't know about those specific items, but there is an Amazon.com.next. So you can go there. There's Amazon.com, which is the US side, and then there's Amazon.com.mx, and you can try and see what kind of products they have. Hold on, I'm just gonna turn this a little. What kind of? Go ahead.
And I used to make soap too.
Oh,
And even in the States, sometimes it's difficult to get the hydrogen peroxide or you use the potassium, whatever for liquid soap. So, yeah. Do some research on, you know, what the stipulations are about getting those chemicals in the mail.
yeah,
Because
Hmm.
that it may be a challenge.
okay,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
I have not ordered from Amazon Mexico.
Yeah.
Only because I found the prices way too high for normal things.
Depends on what it is.
Right, and then because you have to, so someone would say,
Importation.
importation, so that's gonna be a much higher fee for that. That's added to the item, and you don't always find that product being made either in Mexico or wherever they have a trade deal with, I don't know, to keep the price down.
Mhm.
So an example, I've been looking all over and they don't sell this in Mexico, well, in San Miguel.
Oh,
So You know, the pure vitamin E oil, just 100% pure, it's about yay big.
Mhm.
Okay, so I usually order it from Amazon back home, and that will cost me for 2 bottles like $22, and I thought that's expensive, but $11 a bottle. So I did the same thing on Amazon Mexico.
Mhm.
It came out to like $70.
No.
I'm like,
No, sir.
oh, no. Needless to say, I didn't buy it. I went home. I
And brought
ordered
it.
it on
Yeah.
Prime and brought it in my suitcase.
Yeah, so you have to look,
Have to-
you have to look and compare. So if there are things that, you know, I forget, Lorraine, I think, is coming. Whoever said they were coming pretty soon. If there are just some things that you're like, I need this and I'm almost out, just get it or do the research. You can get some things here at a decent price, but a lot of times it's expensive. The other part that I found as well is you can also order from Amazon.com in the US and have it shipped. It'll tell you ships to Mexico. But yes, you're gonna have the importation fees. They're not always outrageous, but it depends on what the item is. And I'll give you a great example of this. So I was looking for a litter, another like litter box for the bunnies. They literally had a litter box for $60 or $70. A little plastic. I was like, I can make a litter box. I mean, really ridiculous, right?
Plastic box and cut a hole. You're good to go. Yeah, you're good to go.
Yeah, because I have one in their little house thing and I want to put one on the outside because during the day I let them run around outside and I just call them the little destroyers. They're so cute. But I wanted to put one outside so they can continue like the training of using it. So I said, oh, let me check on Amazon today. And I was just like, this is like a dollar store item, in my opinion. And I don't know why. So
No,
just
you're
kind
right.
of like, you have to look because there are places to get things for less. You just need to kind of do a little more research and digging. And what I also advise with Amazon.com.mex is really read the description because it is not as clear as the .com side. And you just never know what's going to show up in the mail.
Yeah.
Just be careful because I ordered, luckily, something told me when I was ordering it, I wanted the wall lamps. And I said, oh, these look great, and I was gonna order all the sets that I needed. And I said, oh, just get one set. And it didn't have a cord, even though the cord was in the picture, it was a hardwired one. And I was just like, and then in the photo, the cord kind of was there, but then it faded to white. Oh, my, and trying to return here is very, it's kind of difficult because they charge you a fee. So it is very efficient. It's getting better. It has gotten better. You can get certain things. Hair products, I think, are very difficult still or very expensive. Like, the cheap braiding hair you can buy at a hair shop for like $5 or $6 is like 20, maybe $20 here. So you just want to kind of like do an inventory of the things you like and go from there. Let's see, ¿qué más? Hi, Suki. A lot of properties are being bought by Mexican nationals in areas where they are. Yep, I agree. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree that, yeah, everyone that I don't know about you all, but everyone that I've rented from in the past, they were all Mexicans. I don't rented from any people that were not. Yeah, so the peso has gotten stronger, but it's,
So it tells you who has a real estate.
and they don't want to sell.
No.
Not everyone, but a lot of people are like, nope, we're
They're
hanging on.
realizing, what they have now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's the same as the US, when I lived there, I wanted to just have rental income. So
Yeah.
I, why work a job if you can have? Yeah.
True.
Yeah, exactly. And then the value still increases because most of them are paid for.
Yeah, you don't hold mortgages.
Yeah, there are no mortgages mostly. Landlords and businesses owners do. This is, yeah, I agree with that, Auntie Lou. The presence gotten stronger. It's still a better cost of living. Yes, it is. And again, you know, I just want to say thank you, Mexico, for accepting my Blackness because I am
Yes.
very grateful to be able to be here.
Yes.
I don't think it's as easy to enter Mexico as it is other places, but it's certainly way easier than people trying to go and enter the United States
Oh, yeah.
and other countries
Oh,
in
yes.
Europe.
Absolutely.
You know, so to my audience, I always say, you know, walk lightly, walk with grace, be gracious, be courteous.
Mhm.
Let's not represent, you know, that kind of negativity that maybe sometimes are associated to foreigners and how our expectations may be off, you know, and how we treat people. I really try to walk with grace in this regard. Every now and then, you know, you gotta get a little crazy, but not often. Every now and then, and it can be very frustrating. I'll tell you, as a now business owner, you know, there's a lot of information that feels you're like misinformed. You know, and that can be very challenging, the language, the whole nine, but I do think that for the most part, there's usually someone who can help you and kind of help you get through different things for the most part. But I think that, you know, this is another opportunity for us to be somewhere new and make a good life and out of it, you know, and for a lot of us, this might be, you know, our final chapter, like where we're gonna live, right? We want to be here, even if you move around and travel and things like that. So I'm definitely grateful. So a question someone had was about relocating. What are the positives for you all in terms of relocating? I mean, we kind of talked about some of it.
Mhm.
Do you want to add anything?
The positives of relocation. I feel very, very at home here. Okay. The community, again, like I mentioned, is very important that I don't feel like I'm alone here. I feel if I have a question about almost anything, there's somebody within the community that I've met, Mexican and foreigners, not just, you know, people from the US, that I can call and that can direct me. What's really positive is, and what's important to do, is to make connections with the Mexican people. Don't stay within your bubble. You will just miss out.
Yeah.
You will just miss out. Because we're foreigners and you're asking foreigners, how is it? We're only gonna know so much,
I
right?
agree,
So you
100.
better go ask the Mexicans how are things. They know a lot more, and the way Mexicans do or say things is not the way the foreigner would approach things. So it's very important that you make connections with the Mexican people. Attempt the language. It doesn't matter how bad. It really doesn't matter how bad. Make an attempt. They're so happy when you make an attempt. They'll teach you, they'll talk to you, but make the attempt. That's the thing. That's very important. Positive. I just feel at home. You know, there are times you go places and you're like, oh, no, this doesn't feel right. I can't be here. I could never live here. That was not the case with San Miguel. It was the opposite. I felt at home. I felt like I can live here.
Agree.
Yeah.
And, you know, I grew up in a military family, so moving has been part of my life, my entire life. And the good thing about moving is it gives you the opportunity to try out different aspects of your personality. Because one thing changes, everything changes. So maybe you come here and you find out things about yourself that you didn't know. And you know, I kind of knew in the States that I enjoyed my own company. But
Yes,
you know, I found that out here in a deeper kind of way. Because there's a lot of social things going on that I just have to say no to because of my work, because of my health, because whatever.
Because.
And it's okay. And when I do come and am a part of community, I have things to share because I've been by myself for a period of time.
Right.
And things I soak up and want to hear. So, and it's okay either way.
It's okay.
That people are welcoming, and it's not like, where you been, girl?
Yeah,
It's
right.
not that.
It's
It's
not an accusation. If they do
Right.
say where you been, girl, because I just missed you, but it's not like you should have been out.
Right,
It's not
right.
that.
I say no a lot because
Yeah.
I'm just one person.
Well, I'm learning to say no.
Well,
I
there's-
was like, social, I was like, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I think that happens when you first get
When you
here.
first get here.
Is you go out and you do a lot,
Yeah,
and
you
then
do a
after
lot.
a while, and
You
it's
have
funny
to.
because I remember Stephanie kind of telling me that in the beginning. She was like, "You get burnt out," and it's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing because, again, as we were saying earlier, it's easy to kind of feel integrated, and it does start to feel like home because people do extend an invite or something that they're doing, or there's just a lot of entertainment type things as well. But I'm like you, sometimes I'm just shut it
I
down.
like my alone time.
Me too.
I
I'm
love my
actually an
alone time.
introvert,
Yeah.
believe it or not, more or less. And
Yeah.
this I enjoy, but I like to also be at home.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I'm very open to transformation. And I don't want to come here and be in this place and see the things that I see that are different, and hear the things that I hear that are different, and not be transformed by it.
Right.
Mm,
So,
That's a
Good point. Good point.
I like it.
Mhm.
I like it.
Mhm.
So, let's see. Let's see. Smartphone technology. Yes. Speak. Okay, so I've heard Amazon makes this a gamble if you have a security desk or a custody. That's a good question. I've only gotten things delivered to kind of a security situation. Here in San Miguel, there is Espacio, which used to be Smart Space, formerly owned by Stephanie. You can have things delivered to that address for maybe like a monthly fee if you wanted to use that service. I don't know if you've had things delivered.
Delivered by like FedEx
Just-
or Amazon.
No, I think what she's saying, like if you just live in a house, like
Mhm.
here, I know that they've delivered here to Casa ELM,
Mhm.
and it's not security, it's the house.
Mhm. Well, I live in a gated community, so the security
Security.
officers accept packages
Right,
for the residents and.
right, so that's her question, but in the opposite, does it
Yeah.
work if you live in just like a standalone,
no.
non-security?
No, it doesn't.
You've
No,
tried
it
it?
doesn't.
I've tried it.
I know you had that piece of mail, but
Yeah.
have you tried like other?
Yeah, someone who lives in Mexico City tried to send me something to my apartment, and it never
Made
it
it?
never arrived, but it was sent back, and they sent it to Espacio.
Yeah,
So yeah, have somewhere
that it can be delivered.
that your mail can be delivered. And I found I have a digital mailbox in the States where my mail from the States goes. And after I was here for about a month, all I started receiving is junk mail.
Junk mail.
So,
Yeah,
I may cancel that after a while, but it just, have some place to have your mail delivered that, accepts mail.
okay. Yeah, that's a good point. So I don't know about the other cities and locations, but here in San Miguel, we have a place that's like a co-working space, but they will allow you to receive packages as well. So that answers that.
Oh, and also, if you're having mail sent here, you need to use a private carrier like FedEx, DHL, UPS. Do not use USPS.
Yeah.
You will
Oh,
never
yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
Well, you got that one piece,
Well, yeah,
but
it
2
took
months
about 2
later.
months, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, she had something sent
Yeah,
to
the
my
USPS.
address, and it was, when I saw it, I was like, oh, it made it.
yeah, walk the whole way.
I know, right? Somebody kicked it down the road, down the highway. So let's see. Amazon Mexico is not necessarily a gamble, just to say you. It's a gamble on what you actually will receive in regard to, you know, is it the size in the picture like this, or is it this big? Things like that. It's like really not as clear, and coming from using Amazon.com in the US, I used it often. I felt that it was more accurate. I didn't like the clothes necessarily because I felt that the clothes were hit or miss. But other items like household items, you know, you can look at the reviews. Even I bought one of those push vacuums,
Mhm.
like a red devil, is it dirt devil? Dirt devil. And it just looked fabulous and the reviews are fabulous. But then it got here and I was just like, it's just a dirt devil on a stick, right? It was just anyway, it was $50 and yeah, I wasn't gonna send it back. It does okay. But I thought it was a little more powerful. So just, yeah, just things like that. I think it's a good thing because I just don't order as much. Let's see. Thank you so much for the research plan for our October relocation. Yes, bring luxury soaps.
Luxury soaps.
Yeah, woven songs, I think, was when she was asking about the essential oils and things. Let's see where I gotta bring my hair packs. Yes, do that. Bring your hair stuff. And
your
anything else.
skincare.
Mhm.
Skincare, shea butters, what else?
Oh, vitamin E oil.
If you use that castor oil.
Dry out here because
it's
it's the
really
winter
dry.
mountains, right?
Oh,
Over
yes.
what, 6,000?
6,300 feet.
So
above
it's
sea level.
very, very dry and the water is very hard. So it's hard on your hair, it's hard on your skin.
On your dishes.
Yeah,
your
bring
forks and
your,
knives. Yeah, that's a good point. It's extremely dry, especially
Mhm.
right now because we're not in rainy season yet. So if you're used to like more humidity in the air, that's something to consider. And the hair stuff, like,
bring your own hair stuff.
yes, but I'll tell you this, I have hair things that I bought a long time ago that I haven't used, so I think I thought I was gonna use them more or faster. They do last a while. My stuff lasts a while. I don't know. I have like gels. Someone asked me about edge control, things like that, you know. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yes, just joining. Good evening. Hi, welcome. Befultrin and Nakisa. Let's see, Amazon imports a lot of products from China. These items may be less expensive. It depends on where you go, you know, it depends. If you go to like the Bodega Aurora, which is Walmart in disguise, it's
I was gonna
Walmart.
say 2 steps down.
It's Walmart though, because on their register, it says Walmart in their logo. And
It's 2 steps down from your worst Walmart.
it is, I hate that store. But
But you'll find what you need.
not always, but you will find things you can use and replacements.
Yeah.
Don't buy the clothes. I think I bought one pair of pants there because they look very like bohemian, boho. And I washed them once and they were size 0. Yeah, cheap fabric.
Yeah.
So, but they do have like shops. What I find, and I don't know what you all think, is this isn't very nice, but I'm gonna say it anyway. There's a lot of cheesy things here, you know, like a lot of things with a lot of patterns, which is good because I don't spend any money because I don't see, and the things that are really, really nice, they're super expensive. So there's not like that go between, like you said, Home Goods,
Yeah.
TJ Maxx and Marshalls or whatever, which is fine, you know. I like if it's not Mexican made, like gently lift this up. I love these,
They're
right?
pretty.
These are handmade
Yeah.
pottery,
Hand
Mex-
painted.
Mexican,
Yeah,
right?
very
There's a
nice.
town in close to us called Dolores Hidalgo. These are also very common there.
Mhm,
These things are very affordable and I really, really like them.
mhm.
But if you're looking for like
Lennox.
dishes,
You're not gonna find
they're like
Lennox or
kind of
fine
cheesy.
china.
And I feel like those are the items that get shipped here from China.
Yeah, I think, well, I think most of us, again, let's remember why, one of the reasons why we're shifting our lives a little bit. A lot of us want the simpler life, the more holistic
Yes.
life. We chose Mexico because we kind of want to integrate into this culture also, right? So if it's easy for you to bring your fine china because you just absolutely love it and it belonged to your grandmother, okay, bring it. But there are substitutes. You want to come here, yes, the cost of living is less, but you also want to contribute to the society, to the economy.
Mhm.
You want to buy these, pretty little things.
love them.
It's fine, it's beautiful.
Mhm.
So we're not gonna find exactly, what you're used to in the US, but you can get used to different things just as well.
Yeah, I mean, what I want to clarify that is I like the handmade
Me too.
things versus if I went to just like a store locally, it's like the designs aren't really contemporary, I guess it's probably. I like these things because it's where I am, right? I have the matching vase. I have, these cups with the matching vase.
Yes.
And these are made here and I love them,
Mhm.
right? Because,
Beautiful.
right, they're made here and they're kind of rustic, I guess.
Mhm.
But if you were just going to look for like a set of something somewhere, those are the things that I think are made in China and they're
Mhm.
not that nice, the style wise.
Mhm.
However, it's not a big deal. It's just the point simply is if you wanted to buy something more contemporary, it's probably gonna cost you a lot more
Mhm.
versus if you were like, you know what, I really want to get some things that are handmade or produced locally, you're gonna find a nice selection, depending on where you go to shop for it.
They
I
may
find.
have to go if you want, you may have to go outside of San Miguel.
Yes,
Mexico
Dolores
City,
Hidalgo, Dolores Hidalgo.
Good time,
Yeah.
Querétaro,
Yeah.
you may have to go outside if that's what you really want.
Yeah, like even these, I mean, you
Yeah.
can't see them, but my bamboo sticks. I got all of
Thank
those
you,
things
Diana.
here and the vases, they literally had those set of
Mhm.
3 for 150 pesos. Set of 3.
You can't beat that.
I love
And that's,
them.
isn't that handmade? Did
Yeah, those are
somebody do
handmade.
that?
Yeah, they burn the bamboo
Yeah,
sticks, so it has
handmade.
like a
You can't beat
pattern
that.
on it, yeah. So
Mhm.
anyway, moving
Mhm.
on, let's see, Peace Queens. Hi, Andrea, welcome. It's easier to get around on bicycle. Or do you need, no, I wouldn't recommend a bicycle. Unless you don't mind, being on cobblestone. I would say if you were gonna resort to being on a bicycle, then get a moped.
Yeah. I
But
wouldn't do
even that,
bicycle.
yeah,
even
it's,
that. Yeah,
like
it's
this.
the cobblestones and the
I would buy ATV.
unevenness of the sidewalks, even if it's not cobblestones, the cement, the sidewalks are very uneven. I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, it's not comfortable riding a
No.
bike here at all. At all. I don't see I see people riding bikes, but they're mostly on maybe the main highway. Maybe they're going to work and once they get to Central,
Yeah, and
they're, used to the bumpy road, but I think
then the inclines, San Miguel has
going
all
up.
these really, going
Yeah,
up and down the mountain.
yeah, I would say get an ATV. Or a Pilates,
Walk.
or walk, take the bus.
Safer.
This is true. Mexico has lots of products from China, those may be less expensive dishes, appliances. Okay, we did that. Let's get around by bike. I plan to bring my bike for exercise, but yeah, I mean, if you can find places, to ride your bike, but Central is probably not one of them. And then there are also a lot of hills and mountains to consider. I'll say mountains, hills, these are mountains. Someone said, Dina, love you. The
I
incense
love you too.
at Andrea. Embracing the culture 100%. I love it. So, okay, I think we covered most of it. I mean, I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to share what you do or still working it out.
I am a freelance writer. I work with progressive nonprofits and aware individuals. I am beginning to offer a new service done through monetized blogs. So if you are thinking about moving, but you think, well, I'm not sure if I have the financial resources to live in Mexico, well, maybe you need to contact me and we can talk about how we can make that happen. My website is Elaine Shelley, ELAINESHELLY.com. You can contact me through the website. Your messages come directly to my email. And let's not use money as an excuse for not coming here.
And living your better life. Best
Well,
life.
I didn't know all that about you. That's wonderful.
I know, I
So
just
you-
learned
I
that
didn't
too.
know this. So you help people monetize their blogs?
Yes, yes.
That's
I just dropped your,
Yeah.
I just dropped your website.
I'm gonna need your information.
Okay.
I love it.
okay. Because you can have a full-time income and not do anything. I mean, you
I
can,
love it.
I love
you
it.
can take art classes,
Yeah.
learn to sew,
Yeah.
travel.
We're gonna make curtains.
Excellent.
I'm gonna tell you what I mean. And I mean that,
Excellent.
I say that in the, yes, because I'm horrible.
In the
about some-
truest form.
Yes, like Elaine is the person I can communicate with here.
Very good.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I love that. I did not know that about you. I knew you were a writer. Because remember, we talked about that.
I
a few
didn't know
times.
that about you.
That this came up
I'm a
earlier.
writer in my dreams. I didn't know. I mentioned
Okay,
that.
well,
Yeah, yeah.
we
Every
can
time I
make that-
dream, I'm a writer. I'm many things in my dreams.
I'm a designer at heart. If you move down and you need someone to design your house, call me. That's something we should do.
And I love that.
Yes.
I
I'm
love
gonna
that.
talk to Maru. I'm like, you got properties, you need me to stage them for you, get them rented. Like,
I love that. I mean,
We actually talked about doing something
she
like
needs
that.
to do that. She has
Well,
places and she's
Not,
just,
not just staging, but using unusual, that's where I get more of a, a high. I love to use unusual things.
yeah, or use something like a ladder as a
Yes,
bookcase.
Ladders of bookcase, repurpose everything.
Yeah.
And then have things in your home that's multifunctional,
Mhm.
especially if you're space challenged,
Right.
you should be able to have one thing that does multiple things and
absolutely,
still be beautiful and decorative. So
absolutely.
I like that whole vibe.
Yes.
So when I buy property here, I'm coming to see.
You need to come.
Because
Yes.
I want to be in beautiful surroundings.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, call me.
The way I do things, and everybody who, have their own way of doing it, but I put things together. I won't say design, because I always feel that is for the experts, and that's not me.
But see, that's the misconception.
That's not me.
Because I always felt that way.
Yes.
And every space that I have been like, blessed to be able to design,
Uh-huh.
people are just like, you totally missed your calling.
Oh,
And I always felt kind of like, oh, I didn't go to school for that. I didn't go to school for
That's how I
that.
feel that.
And I think that we
designers
limit ourselves,
Yeah.
because I think you
You're right.
learn, the more you do, you learn.
You're right. Because I do things by feel. And it's hard to say, well, how are you gonna know what another person feels? But a space has a feel,
Absolutely.
you can tell me what your style is, what your color scheme is. And then when you start putting the pieces together, there's a feel
Mhm.
to this thing.
Mhm.
So when you come in or somebody come into your space, they should feel it, should feel you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so not just a piece, so
Yeah.
that's how I do it.
Hey, there's another business. Hi, Andrea. Thank you. So I think we kind of covered like a lot of the reasons why I think women feel really comfortable to come. And, that was overall the topic, not to exclude the men, but they just don't, y'all don't show up if anyone's watching.
Or when the women
You
come,
know.
they come anyway. We tell them how it
Yeah.
is and what it
Come
is.
on
They come.
in. I
But you
mean,
gotta get the women.
we have our community. I know that I think they're called the Bad Boys.
Oh, yeah?
The
Tell
Bad
me.
Boy community here.
I heard people talking about it, but
What is
I didn't
it?
know what the name of it was.
Well, it doesn't mean anything negative. I think it's more like
Just a
Will
group of.
Smith and the
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence Bad Boys, but not that one. I was about to start singing that song because I like that song. But the Will Smith, Martin Lawrence Bad Boys, like this, they're cool.
Oh, cool.
And it's a group of, basically Black men expats, and they do stuff together. Like they play ping pong and they hang out and they do lunches and maybe golf and stuff like that.
That's wonderful.
No, it is. It's amazing.
Ladies need
But it's a small
community.
group. So I'm just saying it to anyone who might be watching and sitting in the background that there is a community here. They tend to kind of, do their little group thing.
Yeah, so when you come with your men, there's a community for them.
Or not, if you just are coming. On Sunday, I met Dr. Hall. Have you met him?
I was just at a meeting with him.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because they're doing they're having a whole
thing.
ideas fair on this Saturday that is all about like kind of telemedicine, a bunch of things. And he's been here since
25 years.
Who knows? And anyway, he was just kind of commenting about what he does, et cetera, et cetera. So they're out there somewhere, every now and then they pop up in our get-togethers. So come on down, y'all.
Come on down.
You're so welcomed. So yeah, and we talked about affordability, cost of living, social life. Oh, one more thing before we go is safety. I just want you to chime in on how you feel about safety, because I've had people ask that question a lot. And it's, I think when you're not here, certain like stereotypes that we have, not to say there's nothing to be concerned about, but just kind of, something to mention, like what is your, can make it short and brief, your experience or feeling about it.
That's safety. Okay. I don't think I'm your typical person to answer that question because.
Why? Because you'll karate chop somebody from your.
Well, I will karate chop. I'll karate chop in a minute. No.
Okay. Just saying, I know I will.
No, only because, I don't know, there's very few things that alarms me. Okay. And there's very few things that scares me. I'm more scared of rodents and reptiles than I am of, being in a strange environment. That being said, you have to be aware. I was raised in New York City. I guess that's why very few things scare me, but you have an awareness, an inner awareness, I feel. Okay. I don't do silly things like at midnight and I'm walking down the street or a little alleyway and there's nobody there and I've never been there before.
You're not like the girl in the movie running down the dark alley or
No.
the forest.
And if
by
I was
yourself.
running down the alley, I would not fall, I guarantee you.
Right.
How they always
Fall and squirm and scream. Okay, yeah. Okay.
But no, you have to be aware. You have to be smart.
Yeah.
You would be smart wherever you're coming from in the States, right? You would be. Even if you live in the most affluent neighborhood, there's crime, there's home invasions, there's all sorts of things. You still lock your doors. So the same thing is required here. I've never felt unsafe, and I do most things alone. I mean, I'm out there walking all over the place alone. I make sure I'm home, not because I feel scared, but I'm typically home by the sundown.
Yeah.
Because what am I doing out there unless I'm,
At
at
an
dinner
event.
with a group of people? What am I at an event? What am I doing walking around in the dark by myself?
Right,
I wouldn't do it at home,
right,
so I'm not doing it here.
right.
So I've never felt unsafe. I've never felt unsafe. So
Elaine?
And, I agree wholeheartedly with all of that. I have a disability, I have a mobility disability, I walk with a cane. So, to some people that may make me appear vulnerable, don't try me.
because you know how to
Right.
swing that cane.
Girl.
You know how to swing that cane.
But by the same token,
Take them out of lane.
You're like, gotcha.
it only takes one.
I am not the one, I am the church lady. Trying to grab the bag. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put myself in situations where that will be called. And, I spend a lot of time sitting in the park, people watching, and the police officer walked up to me and introduced himself and started speaking in Spanish. And I guess I was looking at him like, okay, what's about to happen here? And so he started speaking in English, and it just took a while for it to soak in that he was introducing himself to me and telling me that he would be of service if I needed him. And it was like,
Nice.
what?
A police officer, a cop.
Nice.
And yeah, so I know that I tried to fix my face, but I know I look shocked. And I said, thank you. And he went on to somebody else to say the same thing.
Nice.
Wow.
So,
Nice.
yeah, I feel quite comfortable.
I think that's those are good, very different points. And, just, I think too, it's intimidating for us as people of color when we see police. And, I know initially, my heart would be like, oh, I'm driving by. Or one of the things that I wasn't used to here is the police and at all levels, because they're different levels, they always drive with their lights on. So the only time you need to know, like, I need to pull over is when sound and lights are on, but they always have the lights on. Yeah, they always have their lights on. And so seeing that, and also them riding on the back of the pickup, their guns and all.
And
it
all
just-
for
Right, face mask, covers like the eyes, right, little ninjas. And the point is it can be initially intimidating because I think we come with some of those psychological traumas. And we're expecting like maybe we're gonna get in trouble or whatever, but a lot of times the encounters I have had were positive. They were, even when they needed to pull us over for some reason, they were not negative or scary.
I find myself saying hola to the police. I never say hola to the cops at home. I'm like, hola. And they're like, hola.
I mean, it depends. If I'm walking somewhere, eye to eye contact, I say hello.
I say hello and they say hello back. But to show you how the mindset has changed and how I feel differently when I feel at home, I would never say hello to them at home.
Yeah, it's too bad. But safety wise, I mean, I have had this conversation. I did a live about it. A lot of different things have come up. People ask that all the time. We've seen also, the issues at the border, different places. We have to be mindful that we need to be vigilant, but we also have to be mindful that it's a large country and that anywhere in the world, you need to just be aware of your surroundings at all times. I feel safer here than I did living in the US in general.
Yes.
Again, am I gonna walk into the forest by myself? No, never. So I think just always kind of keeping your eyes and ears open. As you said, you were raised in New York
City.
You know, I was raised in neighborhoods that were both great and not so great. You know, and I think too, just as people of color, you know, we typically are a little more reactionary. If we hear certain things, we're like, what's that? At least I know I am.
I call it sensitive. We're
Sensitive's
sensitive.
probably the right, yeah, sensitive's probably the right.
Sensitivities.
Yeah, well, you know, the thing, and I was saying this to someone earlier today, one of my clients, you know, I was talking to her and that came up and she was talking about, forget, there was the girl that came in a group with her friends and
the two were.
right, and she died and they haven't arrested anyone yet. Not the border issue. It was the young girl that came, like, they went to like a Cancun resort or
So
something.
her friends beat her to death.
Something like that. She
Oh,
said they still
goodness.
haven't done anything. So it came up because she asked me about, I was like, I haven't heard anything. I don't know.
Mhm.
But I was saying to her how it's very interesting because when I was younger, you know, to talk about my coconuts, because I love my Jamaicans, terrible, but I would go out to clubs in Florida where there's like a whole, you know, metal detector, you know, people at the
Down.
front, yeah, with bulletproof vests on and shotguns ready. And, you know, there's always somebody at the end of the night that would maybe drank too much, going
a
out to their
fight.
trunk, getting their guns, and I'd be like, well, you know, but we want to go to the reggae club. Why? Like, this is crazy, right? And I was thinking, if that ever came up here, I would never go. Like, I would be petrified.
Right.
So why was this kind of, you know, some kind of weird, like, it's okay?
The evil,
Because
you
you get
know.
used to it. That's true. The
The
evil, you know. The point is that I think we have to be, we just have to be aware wherever we are, but I don't feel unsafe in this regard. Now, I do recommend, you know, going to other places if you're driving on highways and you don't know where you're going, to maybe go with someone that speaks the language. Because I like road tripping. Right, travel during the day, drive through during the day. You know, there are plenty of people that I know that drive at night, they're not bothered by it, that are foreigners. Take a bus or whatever, you know, like, yeah. Just because I think it's not a bad idea, but anyway, that's it.
Yeah.
Let's see, last questions and then we're gonna go. Let me know if I can. Thank you. Hi, welcome, Doris. Thank you all. And all of the willingness of the people. Offices never seem to be intimidating. No, welcome, Vaughn. Let's see, thank you. Great info. You're welcome. So that's it. If you all haven't hit the like button, please do so. This is a long night for us. We've been here since 6 and it's now 8 something. Thank you both for joining me here. I think we'll have this confirmed by the end of the week. We're gonna do kind of like a family thing next week. So we're gonna bring some people on with kids, or like kind of a group, like a kind of a family thing, same concept and idea, or the week after. We'll see, but you'll look out for that. Thank you all for supporting. If you're looking to relocate at all, go to casaelm.com and see when our upcoming relocations are. We provide a whole week of information about how to move to SMA mostly. There's an extended portion if you're interested in going to Querétaro, which is the next city over. You can do homework on that. You can go and find out about that as well. And then we have a lot of other things that we do throughout the year. But we're here, and also if you're just interested in, you know, learning more, you can also watch my channel. That's probably the most inexpensive way to do this. And then you can also book a relocation strategy session as well at expatlifemexico.com. And that's it, right?
All right.
Anything else? I think that we're done. Thank you all so much for joining me. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe and share. Have a great night. Let me see. Do this. Give it a little bit of time. I'm not sure. Thank you all. Okay.
Yay.